When you have a strong personal brand, you technically don't have to introduce yourself. You can walk into a room, even if it's a room in a different country, and people will recognize you in some way.
Hey, welcome to Post and Profit. Today I'm speaking to Karla.
People want to buy from people that they like or feel connected with or they understand and know and trust.
I think Karla is the perfect guest for the first episode because the reason that I called this podcast Post and Profit is you can profit from putting yourself out there on LinkedIn in so many ways.
Sometimes you just have to push yourself to do different things, and that's how you build your brand, but also that's how you grow.
You got opportunities, community, obviously monetary opportunities as well. You can help grow your business, and it's something that you'll carry for the rest of your life.
I was documenting my full house renovation at the time. See if you're just doing something and documenting it in a fun, unique, interesting way. It's all part of your story, isn't it?
Karla's story is the perfect example of this. So today, hi Karla.
Hi.
I met you on LinkedIn, nearly 2 years ago? Was it that far? Maybe a year and a
Yeah.
half ago? And it's funny because you're from Glasgow and we've never actually met in person, but for some reason we speak every other day. So yeah, it's good to have you on here and I'm sure we're going to have a good chat. I want to start off with a big question, and that is, what do you think of the state of LinkedIn right now?
LinkedIn has changed a lot over the past couple of years. So I've been posting on the platform for the past 3 years. And everyone speaks about the algorithm. I've seen a huge change in impressions from the likes of myself and clients. So I used to get on average 50,000 impressions per post organically, which is absolutely huge. Now, my average impressions per post is probably about 10,000. So it's still very high, but drastically minimized. But to me, it doesn't really matter because yes, impressions are important in terms of brand awareness, but I'm still getting as much engagement and I'm still getting as many leads as I was before. That's the impression side. So many people speak about the algorithm, but if you're actively working towards the algorithm and showing up consistently, posting high quality content, building your community, you can't really keep blaming the algorithm either. There's workarounds for the algorithm. And then with regards to the actual content on LinkedIn, obviously there's a whole discussion about the AI content that is infiltrating the feed, which is a bit draining to look at because I'm a writer and a creative and a personal brand strategist, so I absolutely love reading content, but I hate scrolling through LinkedIn when it is just recycled posts. But I think that's when you have to get intentional with who you have in your network as well and the content that you engage with. If you're only engaging with people who are posting a whole load of generic AI content, that's all your feed will see. That's all you'll see on your feed. Whereas if you're actually engaging with people and connecting with people who post the content that's you're more aligned with, then there's a much higher chance of having a feed that's full of education and inspiration and value driven content.
Yeah, I think LinkedIn has sort of blown up in the last 2 years, and a lot of people have. I mean, even me, I only really started posting seriously on LinkedIn 2 years ago. And with that, all these people have come there with ChatGPT, tried to create all this content, and it didn't work, or it did work for a brief moment in time, and now, the algorithm has changed to stop it because it's I can't remember what the stat was, but I know it's LinkedIn is inundated with AI content, and to be fair, LinkedIn's like reason for that too. They allow you to use AI on LinkedIn. But anyway, I think a lot of people come to LinkedIn with this misconception of how to, I guess, grow there, and they've fallen into this trap of let's just post 5 times a week or 7 times a week, and use AI to do that, and it's really there's no substance to those posts. So what's your advice to those people, the people that have maybe come in a little bit later than everyone else and are just, I guess, doing it, they're forcing it with AI?
If you're doing something for the sake of it, and just following the crowd, then you're never really going to get true results. Like, I'm not anti AI. I think AI is a great thought partner, but it shouldn't be used for the whole creative process. I think it should be used for like elements of ideation or like writing if you struggle with that, or editing if you struggle with that. Like maybe someone's dyslexic, or if I'm having like a bad ADHD day and struggling with distractibility, then I think it's good for certain things. But like using it for like the whole creative process and like posting content, like it just means that like there's no personality, there's no human aspect. Also, like, how are you ever going to improve your skills as a writer? Like, writing is one of the most valuable skills that you can have as like a human, as a business owner. That skill like filters into like every single part of your life as well. So I think it takes away that, and yeah, I think it makes you lazier a little bit. Like I says, I'm not anti AI. Like I do use AI tools, but not for like every single stage of the content creation process. Um, like, how are you supposed to find your unique voice? Like, your differentiating factors? That's what a lot of people come to me and they struggle with. They're like, "I can't write in my own voice. Like, I don't know how to write in my own voice." And I'm like, "Have you actually tried though?" Like, so many people just they don't even try, and therefore they don't enjoy the process of creating content because it's so mundane and systemized. And systems are good, but when it's systemized to the point of like, right, I'm going to like plug into ChatGPT or another tool, like I've got all these ideas, and then they write the post, and then I'm going to schedule the post, and then probably get some AI bot to like reply to all the comments, or a VA, like you're not in any part of that process at all. So obviously you won't enjoy it. I think there's a huge element of connecting as well, like via your content. I think writing content is very cathartic. It helps me come up with so many revelations about myself and my business, and that's just me. I know that there's certain people who hate writing, which is fine, but I just think it's one of those skills that you have to keep mastering, especially on LinkedIn. Like everyone's just sick of it. And even like if someone continually comments on my post with generic AI comments, like, I'm a bit savage and I just block them. Like, I just block them, delete comment, because I'm like, I don't want like that on my feed, and I don't want it on my post. Like, you're not offering any value. You're not even taking the time to read my post. You're not giving me any insights or like real value. Like, I don't know who you are, like what your real thoughts are. So how am I supposed to build a relationship and connect with you? So I think like there's an element of that as well that people don't actually realize. There's a whole connecting part, like with people, that is stripped away when you use too much AI.
Yeah, I agree. I think as well when you create something with AI, you know, it looks great at first glance, so you're quite impressed, like, "Oh, I can't believe we did that." And then you look at it the next day and you're like, "Well, that actually sucks really badly." And I don't know, that's my experience anyway, but it's happened a lot where I've maybe used AI a little bit and then, you know, thought it looked really good, and then the next day I'm like, "That's absolutely terrible." Like, I'm not gonna use that at all. And one big thing I think you were touching on there is like, you know, the connecting part. Like, AI doesn't well, you can train it to know stuff about you, but a lot of the times it doesn't include it. So you're missing that thing that makes it you, and that's you know it's just surface level that you're posting something that anyone else could post. I think that's what's really good about your content. Like, I mean, you max it out, you use every single character possible, right? So like, I mean, how long does it actually take you to write a post?
It takes me an hour to write a repost. Like
Really,
on
that's
average.
quite quick. That is
No,
quick.
yeah, I'd say like between 1 hour to an hour and a half. But then you think about it, and then usually I'll get on average like, let's just say like 100 comments, and it's like taking the time to reply. So it is like a whole process. But I would rather like not post every single day, but have like very high quality content rather than just post every day something that's not really value driven just for the sake of it as well. Which I think a lot of people do as well. Like you were touching on, if someone's just starting out, I get it. Like they want to show up, and they want to like build their brand, and they want to get better. And I think actually posting frequently, especially at the start, is a good thing because you're showing up more. People are getting familiar with you, and you're practicing your skills, and you're just getting familiar, and like you're building that muscle, like the sort of LinkedIn muscle where it becomes habitual. But there comes a point where there's just a lot of people who do post like to get something out, and you read their post and you're like, it's blatantly obvious what you're doing. Like, you had nothing else to say today, so you're just saying something that has been said a million times over. And it's like, it's tedious for us to read as well.
Yeah, the HR posts. Everyone does the HR posts. It's like a hot topic, right? I think LinkedIn also boosts it a wee bit, but you see people create content like that just for the sake of likes and impressions, and yeah, I don't know. I hate them there. I just ignore them. Yeah, I don't like this content anymore.
There's a lot of content. I mean, I've did that in the past where I've spoken about, like, toxic bosses and things like that, but I've always made sure
Yeah.
that and I know myself that that's, like, top of funnel content. Every post I've ever written about, like, my experience with toxic bosses, because they've been, like, really bad experiences, has went super viral. It's like, I know that if I'm gonna write about, but they've never gotten me any leads. All they've gotten me
Mm.
is more exposure and, like, maybe a bit of, like, resonance and connection because, like, people have empathy for my situation, or they connect to it and relate to it because 'cause they've been in my shoes. So, like, I suppose in a community building aspect, that's quite good. But as for, like, a business building, lead gen, authority perspective, it doesn't really do much, and yeah. But unless you're obviously in that field yourself and in that industry.
Yeah, that's very different. I think if it is and if it's your topic, then fair enough. But when it's not, I guess you can draw it back sometimes. But like you said, it didn't really get you any leads. I don't think it got me any leads either. And I'm pretty sure it trained the algorithm. Like, the post after I did it didn't perform as well. Like my normal post, didn't perform as well as they did previously, and I think that's because maybe the algorithm got skewed a little bit. I don't know. That's just a hunch I've got. But I did listen to one of the other podcasts you'd been on, and you spoke about how the topics on like anxiety and like ADHD, like they did get you qualified leads. So I wanted to speak to you about that, and where you showed like your more vulnerable side, and you did really well on LinkedIn. So I'm curious, like, what the thought process was around that. Why do you think they got you leads? And also, like, how do you like strike a balance between sharing that personal stuff on LinkedIn and maybe like not oversharing too? I'm curious how you view this topic.
So when I speak about the likes of mental health and wellness and ADHD, I'm never ever doing that for a lead gen perspective, because at like, see, way before LinkedIn, like a decade ago, I had a blog, like a WordPress blog, where I spoke about mental health and anxiety and all that, and it was a sort of creative outlet for me where I could process my feelings, because I'm like a documentarian in a way, and that is like hereditary. Like, my grand's like that, my dad's like that. I'm like that. I document every single aspect of my life, like through photos, through writing and all that. So I had this WordPress blog and I wrote it, and I thought this is helping me understand myself better. But then I posted it on Facebook at the time because that was like what was the in thing, and it got like so much traction considering like it was just my own personal Facebook page. Nobody at the time was speaking about like mental health or anxiety. It's hugely stigmatized. People thought you were an attention seeker back then if you spoke about these topics. And I didn't even understand it at the time. I remember going to the doctors and being like, I've got this feeling in my stomach and I think something's wrong, like with my gut. I don't know, like, have I eaten something? Like, I just couldn't understand it. And then that's when I like got sort of diagnosed with general anxiety. So I started articulating that, and it started to help people. And that gave me such purpose, such like a healthy dopamine hit in a way. Cause I'm like, oh my goodness, I have like a potential platform here to help people feel less alone. So when I started posting on LinkedIn, like, my mental health and my ADHD and anxiety and all that is just part of me. It's part of my journey. Like, it's part of like an everyday conversation that I have. Like, I'm so desensitized to it in a way because now I'm like so comfortable with speaking about it, and I just want to break stigmas and raise awareness and help people feel less alone. So when I do that, I try and obviously come in from like a empathetic, like value driven sense. Like, tell like the hero journey in a sense. So like, yeah, I struggled with anxiety and depression. Like, I was at the lowest point in my life, and now I'm the happiest I've ever been. And like, here's how I got to this place. Here's the steps I took, and like, here's why I took them. And that is like helping. Like, I don't know how it's helping, but I know for sure it's helping people. It might be helping people who message me directly, or it might be helping silent lurkers. And again, that's like living up to a purpose in a way because I want to help people. But then people see that content, and I mean, people want to buy from people that they like or feel connected with or they understand and know and trust. So if someone themselves has anxiety or ADHD or relates in some sort of way, it's like you evoke emotion in them, and we all know that marketing is like you have to evoke emotion in order to essentially convert someone. You evoke emotion in them, they automatically like feel connected to you. And in that sense, like that's how I've converted like clients who, yeah, they might not have ADHD themselves, but they respect me for speaking up about it. Or maybe like their colleague or their partner or someone has ADHD and they're like, oh, I've never seen it framed in this way. And then obviously the post gets good engagement because I'm being vulnerable and people resonate. Like, they post usually get like 2.5 times my normal engagement rate, I think. That's what Stan Store's AI found out. So yeah, and then it starts a conversation as well. Like, I think that's another thing. Say when you're just posting about like personal branding or copywriting or whatever your area of expertise is every day, like, yeah, people can start conversations with you, but if you're posting about your interests and building your brand and sharing like glimpses of your life, it just like opens the door a little bit wider for someone to like step in and be like, "Oh, you know what? Like, I've experienced this. Like, can we have a chat about this?" And I think that's like something that's not really spoke about enough on LinkedIn. Like, you want to build your brand and have different content pillars surrounding your brand. It doesn't just have to be what you do, as long as you're doing it in a strategic way.
So if someone's listening to this and maybe, they have their own thing, whatever that might be, um, should they start posting about that? I feel like what the difference with you was like you felt this like pull to like speak about it and articulate your thoughts and it helped you understand it. And I think that's why it works. It's so hard to articulate why, but like I think people can feel that through the content. Whereas, let's just say I have something in my life. If I like force that on LinkedIn, I think people can tell, right? So like how do you find your thing that you want to speak about? Like how do you I guess like if you were to work with it, because you're a ghostwriter, right? So like how if you were to go and work with a new client, how do you help them find their thing that they can authentically speak about? Because they might be passionate about something but not comfortable to post it, right?
Yeah, that's true, to be fair. When I work with someone, like, I dive deep into their story and not just their, like, business and currently where they are. I mean, like, their childhood and their past experience and even their trauma and their struggles in a way, and their wins and their passions, their desires, their goals, like, who they are just now, who they want to be, who they once were. And, like, within that, you oftentimes find that there's, like, certain sort of content pillars and topics interwoven that are directly correlated to like their industry in a way, or in a sense they're just like part of who they are and it's something that they're passionate about. But I would never tell someone to like, I think it's good to get uncomfortable in social media, but if something's making you so uncomfortable, there's going to be a point where you just won't speak about it. Like, if you're not comfortable, if you're like so uncomfortable with speaking about a certain topic, then like there's going to become a point of resistance where you're like, you know what, I'm very like anxious posting this. I'm just not going to show up. So I think it's like finding the balance between like what do you want to be known for? Like with regards to your personal brand? Like how do others currently perceive you and how do you want to be perceived by others? So for example, like part of my content strategy is like I post a lot about entrepreneurship and solopreneurship and digital nomading because I'm passionate about that. Like I love speaking about like building a solo online business. But if someone like hated the fact that they were in a solo business. Like, I mean, there's going to be resistance with posting. Like, it's going to come across so fake. So I think yeah, a case of really diving into your passions and your interests, doing like a lot of deep diving, like into your psyche. Like, people don't realize how much like your thought process should go into posting content online that's meaningful and will actually get you the results that you want. Because that's why like so many people just post to like surface level, like top of funnel content in a way, and it's not human, it's not memorable. It like maybe resonates a little bit, but like it's not your unique differentiator. That's what I would say. Like your story is your USP. It's like what parts of your story can you pick out and like articulate in a way that actually drives your business forward.
So I wanted to talk to you about this. I wanted to talk to you about, how leading an interest in life is such an amplifier. And I guess like compare that to maybe someone who is just stuck at home and maybe like 14 hours a day. Like, your audience doesn't really want to follow that person. So yeah, let's chat about this a little bit. Why don't you talk about, the decision to move to Bali, and also then we can maybe go on and speak about why you should like maybe push yourself a little bit to do more interesting things, and um the benefits of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's all like part of your story, isn't it? So even before I moved to Bali, like way back when I first started posting on LinkedIn, you probably don't even know this, but I was documenting like my full house renovation at the time. So that was like at the like you would probably think that's not the most interesting thing to be posting about on LinkedIn, but I was posting like office updates and all that, and like I actually see if you're just doing something and like documenting it in a fun, unique, interesting way. Like people do care. But obviously if you're just showing the process of you like sitting at a desk all day, like you're not doing anything, like there's no way that that's like inspirational in any sense because people are like, why are you just working so much? There's nothing visually to see here. So yeah, when I like moved to Bali, I felt like I needed a kicked out my comfort zone completely. I never solo traveled before. I never been away from home. I never lived in like another environment that where I didn't know anyone in a way. And I always knew that I wanted to be in the sun, like by the waves, just full of that my business is called Wave Socials because when I'm like adjacent to the waves, I feel so creative and inspired and calm and positive. And I mean, I'm a positive, optimistic person. I had a great life back in Glasgow, but out here, like Bali in particular, there's a huge like creative entrepreneur community and it's all focused around wellness and well-being as well, which like I'm on this whole like self-development wellness journey. So I do feel like this is the perfect place to meet like-minded people, but like-minded people out with your social circle and your echo chamber in a way, because you'll know this yourself, but being in Glasgow, being in Scotland, there wasn't really a lot of opportunities. There's not really a push for creativity or like entrepreneurship. There's not really big entrepreneur circles or communities. Like a lot of the business owners in Glasgow, they know each other because there's so few. So I would always have to go to London and Manchester for networking events. Like I was literally there every month, sometimes multiple times per month, to just like get out and like connect with like-minded people. I'm someone who like gets such a buzz of meeting people in real life. I know that that drains a lot of people's social battery, but like it inspires me so much, and there's nothing like in real life connection with like-minded people. Like I just love that aspect, which is why I love being in Bali as well. But I was intentionally putting myself in rooms even back in Scotland, even when I was working like 14-hour days and stuff. Like I was working hard, but I was also intentionally doing things that built an offline brand as well as an online brand, because you have to be putting yourself in situations so that you actually have experiences to speak about as well. Like, because otherwise, as it's just like you in four walls, you're not really getting out, you're not experiencing things. Like, the stories that we tell are built on like the experiences that we have. So the more that you like push yourself to like what even if it is like a networking event or you sitting in silence at a beach, like you don't have to be out like like networking like a socialite every single day of the week. You can just do little things that fill your own cup up and then document the journey while you're doing that. And people like are attracted to that because you become like a aspirational identity in a way. That's what I always say to my clients, like, we want to position you as an aspirational identity so that people are looking at you and they're like, "That lifestyle, like, that is inspiring, that person, that business, it's inspiring, I aspire to be like that." Like, that person is a couple of steps ahead of me and, like, they're presenting themselves in a very, like, intentional, purposeful, strategic way, obviously, because 'cause you're not gonna show, like, all the messy parts of your life online, but, and then that person will have someone else that they aspire to be like, so I think like, staying true to yourself is very, very important. Like, don't go and do, like, wild things just for the plot twist for LinkedIn. Or maybe do, I don't know. I've done a few things like that. But, me and Schwab, like, me and my friend Schwab, like, booked a one-week holiday to, like, an Airbnb in Gran Canaria when we'd only met once. The amount of stories we had, the amount of content we got, like, the amount, like, our friendship grew and we developed as people as a result of that one decision to book that holiday. Like, sometimes you just have to push yourself to do different things and, like, that's how you build your brand, but also that's how you grow and in turn build your brand as well.
I always find when I go somewhere new, I get so many ideas. Like my
Yeah.
best content, like strategy, like I guess my best mindset to create content strategies, it always happens on planes. As soon as I get on a plane, I don't know what it is, but I get so much work done. I get like 3 days of work done on a plane, and I don't know if it's like just the novelty of like I don't know, and you're kinda locked in this cabin with no Wi-Fi. It does wonders. But I like that. I've done things like that before where I've, like, pushed myself to do something new, and I think that's, like, where I had the most growth. Like, you went to Bali, I went to Barcelona, and I always remember posting this, like, one picture of me by these yachts. It was a co-working space, and I just, like, took a, like, panoramic video, of where I was sitting. There was, like, these £100 million yachts beside me, and, I got a bunch of leads off it. I never expected that, but I wrapped it in a narrative of like, I went from working in my little spare room, this like tiny little desk in there to now working by this yacht. And I did it unintentionally as well. Like I didn't really understand building in public back then. It was completely unintentional. I was just like sharing it, like similar to I guess what you started like as well.
Yeah.
And I made like £8,000 off that one post, and that's when
That's
the penny dropped, and I was just like, whoa, like yeah, that's crazy. Because I had nothing to really do about like what I did as a business owner. It was just about my growth. So I think like going away with Shoaib was really cool as well. Like that probably created space for loads of ideas. He probably taught you things, you taught him things. Like, yeah,
yeah.
I really like that. I think everyone should do that.
I think it is just as well being around people who just get you on a deeper level. Like my friends and family are so 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 supportive, but they don't understand what I do, and like I can't bounce ideas off them. Like I helped at that time in our lives. Like helped Schwab a lot with like health and wellness, and he helped me with like business. And I mean, he's one of my biggest competitors. He's like top ghostwriter on LinkedIn. He's like insane at what he does. But, like, he actively just wanted to, like, help me when I was just starting out with it at the time because 'cause I'd pivoted from social media marketing, and he was just, like, giving me all his tips and expertise, and he just wanted to help me as a human, and I think that's the way you are as well, that's the way we are with each other. I think that's the thing as well with, like, our industry. I know I'm going off topic, but, like, that's why, like, building meaningful relationships is so important, like, whether they're online or offline, like, you and also, like, posting authentically as well is what attracts those people into your life. Because otherwise, like, we wouldn't have clicked as well, like, we wouldn't have known to have DM each other, like, if we didn't resonate with each other's content. So that's, like, what as well attracts like-minded people to you and people who can actually, like, push you to grow and develop. But, I was the same with, like, my Bali post, so I, like, documented the journey. I was like, "I've booked this ticket," and then, "Oh my goodness, I'm going." I did a video, and then I posted that I was going, and that post got, like, over 1,000 likes, and I don't like, judge my post based on likes and sort of vanity metrics in that way, but I got a few leads off the back of it, and what's even, like, more amazing is that so many people message me saying, like, "I'm in Bali, can we meet up?" Or, "I'm going to Bali, like, can we meet up in this point?" And I even, like, multiple points when I've been in Bali, there's been people who have came up to me, like, when I'm just, like, wandering about or at the gym or at an event, and I've never spoke to them before, but they recognize me from LinkedIn, from, like, showing up and building my brand. Even though we've never spoken, like, they just recognize me and they're like, "Are you Karla? Like, I follow you on LinkedIn." And that's because I've been documenting my journey and I've been sharing, like, what I've been up to, and I've built so many great relationships out here as a result of that, which is so cool because it's like anywhere I go in the world, like, I can basically post about it on LinkedIn, and I know that there'll be someone somewhere in that country that I can, like, meet up with and connect with, which is, like, it's been insane for me out here because I'm out here alone, I don't have my comfort blanket, I don't have my friends and family, but as soon as I touch down, like, one of, like, my first ever business friends from 3 years ago, she's from London, she moved out here, and we had never met in person, but, like, we'd always known each other, and we have so many mutual friends. She was the first person that I met up with, and, like, the day I arrived, like, she introduced me to, like, her friends who are all, like, entrepreneurs as well, and then, like, I went to, like, a couple of networking events, I met people from LinkedIn, and then every 2 days or something, I probably get DMs from people saying, like, "I'm in Bali," or, "I'm coming to Bali, do you want to meet up?" And I'm like, that's such a beautiful thought that no matter where you are in the world, you can actually, like, just meet up with like-minded people because of this platform, and that's not even going to networking events, that's, like, just through LinkedIn itself.
Yeah, it's such an amplifier. I always said as well, like, I wish I built more of a personal brand before I went to events because I think I would have had a significantly better, like, ROI at those events if I had built the brand before going.
Mm.
You kind of have
I
to
think
do both, right? But yeah,
yeah,
it was,
that's like, when you have a strong personal brand, like, you technically don't have to introduce yourself, like, I'm not saying you don't have to introduce yourself, but that should be, like, that should be one of the goals as well, that should be one of the aims, where, like, you can walk into a room, even if it's a room in a different country, and people will recognize you in some way, like, it's about being there's Daniel Priestley has a book called Key Person of Influence, which is, like, a great book, so it's about positioning yourself as that, like, the key person of influence within your industry, and making sure that you are a master connector, like, I genuinely think I'm a super connector, like, I just have this thing where I connect that sounds, like, very obnoxious, I don't mean it like that, I just mean, like, I get on with people, like, really, really well, and I always have done. Again, I think that's, like, hereditary, like, my dad will talk to every single person and anyone, and he's did so much work in, like, my local community to the point that I grew up watching him, so I think I learned, like, a lot of the people skills I have through him. And then I used to be, like, a huge, huge introvert, like, wallflower when I was younger, like, so quiet, wouldn't say boo to a fly. And then something in me changed when I started my business, and I just knew I had to, like, push myself to grow because how can I get on sales calls? How can I go to networking events and do all this if I'm just, like, in my own little bubble? And I'm not saying you have to, like, become an extrovert to have a business, but you do have to push yourself, to, like, connect with people. 'Cause otherwise, like, you'll just be like, a bit stunted. Like, the relationships that you build, the referrals that you could potentially get, the rooms that you can get into, it's all about it is really all about who you know. But when I started, I didn't know anybody. Like, I don't come from a entrepreneurial background. I didn't know any business owners when I was growing up. So when I started building my brand, like, I had to, like, just start from the bottom and, like, work my way up to getting to know, like, people within my industry and beyond, and again, that's something that not enough people, like, put the time and effort into doing. Like, they just, expect to, like, post some generic content on LinkedIn, not DM anyone, not connect with anyone, not even comment on anyone's posts, and then automatically have these imaginary relationships and leads. Like, that will never ever happen unless you already have a very, very strong personal brand and you can sort of get away with doing that. But for the average person, like, you need to put the time and effort into, like, building.
yeah. And then what they do as well is they then moan about reach on LinkedIn and how it's down, but like they've only really given it 2 months of a shot. When you started in LinkedIn, did you like view it as a long game thing? Because like for me, like my personal brand, I'm viewing it as like a 10-year plan. Like
But
I'm pretty happy to grow slow, but curious. Like, in the beginning, I didn't have that. In the beginning, I was like, I want leads and I want them like yesterday. And I think that's how you fall into the trap of like growth content and yeah, yeah.
oh,
How did you like view it when you started?
when I first started on LinkedIn, like I posted when I was working in house as like head of social, I posted about like the results I got, like how I grew from an Instagram account. I was doing social media management back then. How I grew an Instagram from like 0 to 100,000 followers in 10 months. Back when like reels didn't exist and it was like all organic content. So like it was very value driven. Anyway, I got a job offer off the back of that. Like they didn't even ask to see my CV. They didn't ask to see anything that was like a 15K salary increase. And I just like I got the job on the spot. So I think then I started to realize the potential of LinkedIn. But then I started to like build my brand and I wanted to like post content. I wanted to share in public, but I didn't even know what a personal brand was. I just wanted to share and help people. Like I'd been like and I knew that I'd, like, achieved some things and I'd got good at what I was doing. I'd been working in marketing for, like, 6, 7 years or something. I wanted to just share my knowledge and expertise and help other people. But at the time, like, my boss says, like, "Don't post." Like, it basically, like, I got penalised for posting on LinkedIn because I think at the time he thought I wanted, like, another job because
Uh,
I mean, I technically did want another job, but that wasn't my strategy because like, I didn't think I would ever get another job doing that way. I was going hard on the CVs at the time and
so did he
trying
tell you to stop posting?
yeah. He didn't
Wow.
explicitly say stop posting, but yeah, he insinuated about the fact that me posting on LinkedIn is yeah, it's basically a no-no. It's a no-go. And I was obviously scared to lose my job, so I stunted my own growth in a way and held myself back, and I didn't want to upset, like, my employer, so when I first started posting on LinkedIn when I bought my business, the very, very, very first post I did when I left, it was I have taken the leap to go, like, freelance, and I'm absolutely terrified, and I'm so anxious, and like, I can't believe I'm doing this, but here's like what I'm offering. And that post went like viral for like considering I only had like 4,000 followers or something. And I think it got like 50,000 impressions and like 600 likes and it got a bunch of leads and it got me my first client. And then I was like, wait, this LinkedIn thing actually works. Like, I can actually get work on this. Because I started posting on Instagram when I started, and I realized it was all very, very, very low ticket. And
Mm.
then the strategic side of me realized, like, this is all like founders and entrepreneurs on LinkedIn. This is where the money lies. And then I realized what a personal brand was and how impactful like building in public could be and like building your personal brand and connecting with people could be. So yeah, that's what got me into it. But I think like you should be in it for the long haul. Like a personal brand, like especially when you're a business owner, it should just keep growing and evolving.
People need leads, so they need it now, so they go on and think, "Oh, I need to build a personal brand." But like going back to what you were saying, it's you need to view it from like an amplifier point of view. Like it's a place you build community. It's a place that will give you all these things, but only if you play the long game.
Yeah,
Um, like when you started, so like you went to events and stuff like that. So okay, why don't we explain how I met you? So like I reached out to you and asked for like a coffee chat because I saw you posting and I saw you in Glasgow. And there was like no agenda to it other than I was just on LinkedIn wanting to meet new people. Um, and I think that's why it worked. Like I think if I went in with an agenda, you would have like sensed that and you would have probably like just not even spoke to me. But
yeah,
here we are like nearly 2 years later. But what's funny of like that little series of like chats, I did it with 8 people. Um, I made like I think I can maybe equate it to, like, something like 20K off of those chats, like, over a course of, like, 6 months, mind you, like, it wasn't off the back of those chats, it was they turned into referrals, or some of them even became clients, I never went in with, like, that agenda,
Yeah,
um, and, I think, you're, like, the one I've spoken to the most and gained a lot more from because we connected better, but, um I think, like, I went in to build a community and that worked, and you've done the same thing, like, you were going to the offline events. I think you went to, like, a few ghostwriting masterminds as well. I don't know if I'm
business masterminds, yeah.
yeah, and, like, that all ties back to LinkedIn. So, like, one thing that I've found with, like, my clients is they want you to, like, manage their LinkedIn account, and they want you to, like, comment for them as well, and, like, they're just trying to outsource everything, and I don't think you can do that on LinkedIn at all. I don't think anyone has success just outsourcing LinkedIn to that degree. Like, yeah, you can
Yeah.
get help with posting, you can get help with creating the content, but, like, you still have to build the community side on your own. Like, I don't think you can outsource that. What do you think?
I think that as well, yeah, there's people who outsource their entire community aspect and they've been successful, but like, I can log into a client's LinkedIn account, but I wouldn't know everyone in their network. Like, I
Yeah,
wouldn't know their relationship. Like, yeah, I could do some engagement for them, but it's not real. And the person on the other side will know that unless the client has sat down with me and says, like, this is my relationship with XYZ. But they're never going to be able to do that with like their whole LinkedIn account. So, like, the most successful client that I've had in terms of just growing and like leads and opportunities and impact, like they've also taken the time themselves to build that community. That's something that I always say, like you have to be in the DMs, you have to be connecting with people, like in not in a transactional way, because most people I speak to and that I work with, they don't want to just swoop in either with like the hard sales call or the hard sales like message, and that doesn't work. Well, it maybe actually works for some people, but see if someone like swoops in right away without even saying like a hi or like a how are you, and it's just like this is what I offer, like buy from me. I'm like a hard no. Like there's no way I'm ever buying from you. You have not taken the time to even like write my name. And like how many people have you sent that same message to? And I just like to get to know people. So like with our relationship, it wasn't transactional. It was like, yeah, we're both from Glasgow. Yeah, we're both like in the sort of advertising industry. We are like minded. And then that relationship, it was like a long game. It's like naturally progressed. And I know that like we help each other. Like if I have a lead that isn't aligned with me, I could pass it on to you or Shweb or someone in the industry that I trust. And like I know that you're the same with me as well, or we can bounce ideas off each other and like give each other advice or share systems or anything, which is very, very important because like when you're sort of in this yourself, I know that you have like more of a team than me, but when you're in this yourself and you're doing it all yourself, it can get very isolating and lonely too. Cause it's like it's just you vs you every second of the day, which is one of the most beneficial parts of me building a community. I have never felt alone. Like I'm alone, I'm doing all this myself, but I have never felt like alone in it, which again is like a very special feeling because I know that like no matter what struggle I have, like I'll be able to chat to someone about it somewhere. Someone somewhere like will know the answers to like to my problems. Whether it's someone I've connected with on LinkedIn or like you can refer me to someone or someone I've met at an event in person and we built up that relationship. And then you never really know who's going to convert as a client either. Like what we spoke about, the amount of conversations I've had have been so organic, as in I've just met they've maybe connected with me or liked one of my posts, or they maybe says like, "Loved your post about XYZ," and then we've just been like, "How was your weekend? Like, what's your plans for the week?" And then it goes on to what's your goals, what you're actually struggling with in business and marketing. It's like, wait a minute, I think I need your help. That happened like to me literally today. I went to business mastermind in Bali 2 days ago, and it was, like, in a private villa with these, I think, 12 entrepreneurs, nobody is in the LinkedIn game. There's like hypnotists there, and there's fitness coaches that have scaled to like seven figures. There's people who are just doing insane things from all corners of the world, and I've connected with them. Like at the event, someone says like, I'm going to need your help. Like not right now, but I need your help. And then someone else messaged me today, and we were talking about skincare because she's like, I need someone to like send me skincare from like Europe because it's hard to get in Bali. And then I was messaging her about skincare, and then next thing she's like, I I would love your help with LinkedIn. It's like very, very, very organic relationships that are built. But people just don't invest the time and energy into doing it. But the ROI of like just getting to know someone can be like ridiculous.
Yeah, 100%. You know, when I named this podcast Post and Profit, the reason for it was I think like you can profit from LinkedIn in so many ways, and that's also why you're the best first guest because you're like the perfect example of this. Like you get community, you get opportunities, you obviously do get money as well, but like it's such a hack in life that really can be done in like quite a short amount of time as well. It's one that compounds in so many ways, and I think like your journey is the perfect example of how that's happened. So yeah, Carla, thanks for being the first guest on Post and Profit. I wish I got another hour with you, but that is coming to an end. But yeah, thanks so much for coming on. And where can people find you? Obviously LinkedIn, but your Instagram and stuff too, right?
Yeah, it's just by Karla McNeely and in the LinkedIn.
Thanks, Carla.
Thank you so much.